So what is it? Step 2 is getting Ubuntu into your Docker, and that's called Docker pull Ubuntu. What is Ubuntu? Ubuntu is a version of Linux that we'll talk about a lot at some point. But all you need to know is Ubuntu is the number one Linux used for cloud development out there, and probably the most user friendly. It's the basis of Linux Mint. It's the basis of Pop! OS. I recommend and use Pop! OS. I was a big Mint fan for years. We're not going to get into a Linux distro right now because it really doesn't matter, because you need Ubuntu, and on the terminal you can't get Pop! OS anyway because that's an entire desktop environment, and we are not getting a desktop environment. So for the boost, we are doing nothing but the terminal the entire time. If you want a desktop environment, we'll talk about that in week 11. And you can decide which ones you want to fight about, which window manager you want. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because most of the work that's done in Linux is done from the command line, particularly in the container and cloud native world. So it doesn't matter how fancy it is. It doesn't matter how all the cool stuff that you saw on Linux porn on Reddit or whatever. I mean, those are all fun, fine things to do, just not in the scope of the beginner boost. We're going to be on the terminal all day, every day, loving it and learning why that you need to love it too. And that starts by getting Docker from the command line if you want, or you can use, if you're on Windows and you've got Docker installed, you can do this. You can follow the instructions with the dashboard, and you can go get Ubuntu. Mac, Windows, or Linux is more or less the same. So this is all you have to do from the command line. I'm going to show you how to do it, but I made a big point about you learning how to do it on your own. I'm going to do an ultra simple version of this that is not even the final version. This is just an ultra simple version to show you how to do it. And so the first thing you're going to do is Docker pull Ubuntu. And that's going to pull down the latest Ubuntu image and put it on your system. I had it already, so it went really fast. And then you're going to do, you actually have it now. So you can do Docker, I think images, and that will show you all your images. And I have a bunch, so let me see if I can grep out Ubuntu. My screen's kind of big too. So there's Ubuntu. You can see we have it. It only took up 72 megabytes on your whole system. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? So you have the latest Ubuntu installed. Now, how do you run it? Well, let me show you how to run it, and we can go on from there. First, to run it, we need to take this image, which is just a file, basically, and we need to make that image into a container. A container is an image that's running, okay? So, and I'm relatively new to Docker myself, so let me just show you. So Docker, and then we're gonna start. Well, actually, we need to make a new one. So let's make one. Let's see, Docker start image. No, wait, let's start an Ubuntu. No, wait, let's do Docker run. How about that? Docker run -it. That means interactive, and T means terminal or TTY. And we're going to run Ubuntu. Okay. But let's give it a name so I can come back to it later. Let's call it, I don't know, I'm going to call mine Einstein. All right. So that should do it. So what this says is run Ubuntu image as if it were a computer, and then sort of log into it interactively, and then, well, what are we going to run on it? Well, let's run bash, which is the shell that is the default. So that should do it. And Docker run et ubuntu-n Einstein. If you break it, nothing gets lost because it's just an image. There's nothing to break here. And now I did it wrong. Start, cause executable find not found. Oh, whoopsie. You have to do this stuff first. I'm sorry. You have to do that stuff before. So what do we got? Ubuntu. Nope. Did I do it wrong? What is it? Did I get it? I might have got the name wrong. I don't remember. Yeah, there we go. So I got the name wrong. Let's exit that and see what happens. Let's see if I can do it again and get the name right. I don't remember. So I'm gonna do man docker. It's good for you to see me fail because then you'll not feel so bad. Let's go look it up. Did you see how I did that too, by the way? Man docker. I'm going to go look up the Docker help, and I'm going to look for the namespace. Another way to do that would be Docker help run, and it will tell you all the options. And where this, if you pipe it to more, which we'll talk about, that will send you all the possible options. And one of the options is to change the name. So I don't remember what it is. I have to go look. I have to look it up all the time. Health and string, host name string, nope. IP interactive. There's lots of things. We're going to go through all these. There it is. It's -- name. Apparently there's no shortcut for that. Oh well. I thought it was -n, and I thought it was a shortcut. Guess not. Name Einstein. All right. So this says run Docker container in interactive mode with a TTY. That means I can type into it. Set the name to Einstein instead of some random name. Use Ubuntu as the image to make the container from, and then use bash. So that gives us a root bash shell, and you can see that it's everything. It's got it all. There's not much here, but echo hello world. I mean, at this point, you're immediately going to want to start playing around and do stuff, and that's the next step. The next step is to learn how to install software using a package manager, apt in this case, and then we'll start messing around with the commands that I just have been executing. pwd shows you where you are, ls shows you all the stuff that's here, echo prints whatever you type out to the screen. Lots of fun stuff. It's just the beginning. So if you've done that, now when you type exit, it will actually exit, but it should stay running. So now in order to go back to it, instead of run IT, if you disconnect, you can type exec, and that will attach to the same exact thing. This time we don't need, when we do an exec, we don't need the image anymore because it already exists. So you can say, I want to go reconnect to Einstein. And did I get it wrong? Oh, wait. I think we can just say Einstein. Yeah, we don't even need name anymore. So not running. Why isn't it running? Oh, because I exited out. I thought do I have to start it? I might have to start it. Again, I'm still pretty new at this. So start. There we go. So now I can go onto it, I think. Yep, there we go. And I always forget what's the difference between run and start. Maybe you're like me, but so again, as I've said, this year is my first year using Docker and Kubernetes. I have a job doing it, but it's still my first time using it. It's been really fun to learn. So I'm going to be learning a lot of this stuff along with you, but those are the commands to get us going. And this is why I want to use Docker first, because Dockers are in everything, and you can get a job pretty easily doing, Docker and Kubernetes if that's what you choose to do. All right, so now I'm on and I'm ready to go and do the next steps. And so that's the end of this video.